All right, main event time. We have made it. Here we go. The one match that I care the most about. This is going to be an awesome match. This is going to be a great one. This is going to be the one reason why people are glad on Monday morning that they stayed up late to watch WWE Payback on the WWE Network. It's going to be the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line in a fatal four-way. Basically, there's a stipulation. If Rollins doesn't win, Kane's going to be fired. In this match, you have your WWE Champion Seth Rollins going up against Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton. This match mainly focuses around the one guy who's not even going to be involved in the match. It's going to be Kane. During Triple H's vacation, Kane was left in charge as director of operations. Kane basically thought that he was the guy that should be running the show, while Seth Rollins felt that he was the champion, that he was the leader of the authority. He's the guy that should be calling the shots, and he's the guy that should be going to it. So Rollins and Kane basically at each other's necks to the point where Kane decides he doesn't need this shit. He goes down to Triple H and he tries to hand in his 2-week notice. From there, it looks like Triple H and Kane are on the same side and Rollins is on the outs. Only for 2 weeks later, basically, Kane and Rollins are still at each other's throats, and Triple H flips sides. Basically says, you know what, we tried it your way, Kane. Now we're going to have to go this way. We're going to go my way. Basically, I'm in charge. Rollins is the champ. You're the director of operations. You need to fall in line. You need to figure this out. You need to right this ship. And if Rollins doesn't walk out of Payback with that championship, we're not going to need you as director of operations anymore. From there, I don't know what that stipulation means. Does Kane go back to being the big redheaded freak where he's wrestling in the mask and he just seems to be another guy that's on the card? Or does Kane really get fired? I remember last year around Payback, people were thinking that the Kane versus Daniel Bryan match, if it would have gone through as a buried alive match, it would have been Kane's last match, Kane's retirement match. But it didn't end up happening, and from there, Kane just kept showing up on pay-per-views. If you remember, last year's Payback show was being held in Chicago. Kevin O'Kevin, he makes videos here on YouTube. I'm sure everybody's seen this video. It's got 6 billion views. He, got to take a backstage tour and actually filmed it. There they were at Payback. He didn't have a match because Daniel Bryan was hurt. Kane just reading the newspaper at ringside as everybody else is going through their day, trying to work out the last kinks in their matches. Always something that I remember more than anything out of that video. But everyone in this match has a reason to hate Seth Rollins. Dean Ambrose, easy one. Roman Reigns, easy one. All 3 members of the Shield being involved in this match. It was Seth Rollins who took a step back last year. I believe it was the night after Payback too, and crumpled the Shield. He took a chair, hit it right into Roman Reigns' back, and as Dean Ambrose was reacting to what was going on, basically saying, "Oh my God," Seth Rollins came running up and hit the guy with a curb stomp, and he was down. From there, Seth Rollins took a spot in the Authority, where basically he went on to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, becoming the future of the Authority, while Randy Orton, who was the champion at the time, was the now. Basically, with the Authority, Orton, lost the belt, at WrestleMania last year to Daniel Bryan. From there, it was, Triple H giving Orton shot after shot after shot to regain the championship, while Rollins, had his Money in the Bank briefcase, always had the thought of cashing in, but it was always Orton, and it was Rollins getting into the year, Stephanie McMahon and Triple H basically saying that, he was the future, he was the guy that needed to get there, and basically the Authority kicked out Randy Orton. Since then, Randy Orton has been going after Seth Rollins. We saw these guys have a match at WrestleMania. Orton was able to get the best of them there, but then at the Extreme Rules with a steel cage match, it was Rollins that kept the championship at the end of the night. Ambrose had a short feud with Rollins around SummerSlam last year, where they kept on, trying to have a match, but Rollins was running away. They had a really, really great lumberjack match. Honestly, one of the best ones that I ever saw, where the lumberjack match normally keeps guys in the ring. This one, the match was all over the place. In the stands, fighting through rows of fans, all sorts of things. From there, Rollins went on to have a feud with Roman Reigns that never had a match. Because of the reason of Roman Reigns' injury, which then brought Dean Ambrose back from making movies. And I think that he had got his head crunched by a curb stomp onto a pallet of cinder blocks, I think is how he made his goodbye. But he did make his return, and then from there, Reigns got better. And I think we've seen Reigns versus Rollins on Monday Night Raw, but never one-on-one on a pay-per-view. It's going to happen someday. It just hasn't happened yet, and then it really got a feeling out of it. But all three of these guys, they all have a reason to hurt Rollins. You saw this on Monday with all three of these guys hitting their finisher before turning on each other. So all of these guys know what it's all about. All of these guys know they want to be champion, and you got to beat Rollins to be the champion. But you also have to be the first guy to be there, so you can't be too nice in this match. It was, Roman Reigns spearing Randy Orton after Randy Orton hit the spear on, after Randy Orton hit the RKO on Seth Rollins, and then Dean Ambrose hitting Roman Reigns with the dirty deeds to make sure that he was standing tall. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I think that Dean Ambrose is going to be the guy that takes the fall in this match. Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, two protected guys. Randy Orton's really hot right now as a babyface. Roman Reigns, he did take the pinfall at WrestleMania, and I just don't see him, losing this match. He's going to be champion someday. It's not going to be today. But Ambrose was a good add to this match by Kane. You got to say that, he's been a guy that a lot of people thought was going to be main eventing once the Shield was done. And then once the Shield was done, he really wasn't there. I guess he has been main eventing, because if you think about it, he did main event TLC and Hell in a Cell. The Hell in a Cell match was really, really good, but I don't think it's really a match that people really think about a lot. And the TLC match with Bray Wyatt is, I think, a feud and a match that nobody really wants to think about ever again. This is the main event. I am picking Rollins to win this match. I think it is going to be Rollins versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam down the road. But you have to see what they're going to do from here. They've already said that the match for the WWE Championship is not going to be held inside of the Elimination Chamber, so some of these guys got to get knocked out. Maybe Rollins is going to go up against Kane one-on-one for the championship. Or maybe just one of these guys get promoted. Hell in a Cell is a pay-per-view on the WWE Network, but it's not a real pay-per-view. This was a house show that got turned into a pay-per-view on 2 weeks' notice. So, it would be something to see Dean Ambrose go one-on-one in the main event. It's a lot like when you go back and watch the Insurrection pay-per-views or, the pay-per-views that were held overseas. A lot of those, weren't even the main feuds that were going down on television. It just happened to be somebody that they felt like promoting and putting in the main event to have a good match for those. So we'll have to see what goes down. Honestly, I think that this is a pay-per-view that's not looking spectacular. I mean, now that I'm talked about this, there wasn't anything that really jumped up off the page. I'm more excited for Extreme Rules than I'm more excited for Elimination Chamber more than anything else. So we'll see what happens with this one, and we'll put the pieces together. Of course, we'll be talking all about this on the Stevie Breach channel. Once Payback is in the books, we'll be doing the Payback reviews. We'll be doing the Payback live, I guess you can say live coverage. And we'll be seeing what happens from here. See if Kane keeps his job. See if Rollins keeps his title. Cena and Rusev. Hopefully it's the last one. We'll see from here. Peace out, everybody.